Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to the Ohio Patriot Education Network and to another episode of the Grandstand. I am, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about the Blue 22 here in Ohio, which are the 22 RINOs that voted, well, I should say 21 RINOs, and then Jason Stevens himself voted for Jason Stevens for Speaker of the House. And the Democrats basically want to keep these people in power, is what it is. And then we're going to talk about why every single Democrat in the state of Ohio at the General Assembly level needs to be tossed out of the state of Ohio's General Assembly right now. So, for those that don't know, I've talked about this many times, starting out, number one, Allison Russo. May 2021, current Minority Leader Allison Russo took a direct bribe, big old fucking envelope full of cash from Austin Man Action on camera. That alone, under Article 1, or sorry, is it Article 1 or Article 2? Hang on, let me grab this real quick. Because there's just thing here. I'm trying to read this off the thing right now. Where it specifically says about not being able to hold office here. Let's see here. Dang, it was just here a second ago. I think I'm grabbing the wrong one, is what it is. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Okay, so under Article 2, Section 5 of the Ohio Constitution states, quote, no person hereafter convicted of an embezzlement of public funds, which technically this wouldn't be embezzlement of public funds, it would literally be taking a bribe from an anti-gun organization on camera. Same difference, though. I think it would still fall under Article 2, Section 5, or at least some subset thereof is what it is, dude. Because I'm pretty sure it also falls under bribery charges. You know, an actual fucking felony in this country at all levels. Allison. And then, of course, you got Casey Weinstein, another dickless loser in the Democrat Party, who literally 4 years ago, less than a month after I was federally swatted, committed a hoax on himself by literally printing out tyrant memes, shoving them in his own mailbox, was never federally investigated for this shit, by the way, for misuse of United States Postal Service, mail, and was never arrested for this either, for that matter. He should have been. He should have been tossed out of General Assembly that day, honestly, over 4 years ago now. Then you got the other assholes in that office right now, dude. There are 30 Democrats, from Abduli to Mohammed to everybody else. Jessica Miranda, Beth Liston, all these fucking people. You know, every single one of these anti-gunners, dude. Because they're always pulling anti-gun shit is what it is. That alone, deprivation of rights under color of law. Any person from Jessica Miranda, who's primary sponsoring some of this stuff for like safe storage laws, to anybody else that is co-sponsoring that kind of crap, gone. You're out of the fucking power, bitch. You're done. You're gone from the General Assembly. And now you're facing charges for trying to deprive myself and everybody else of our constitutional right to keep and bear arms in this country. Something that every single one of you dickless losers took a direct oath to office on January 4th, 2023. Less than a year ago, you took office. You swore that oath. You broke it almost immediately. You broke it almost immediately the day you voted for Jason Stevens, by the way, for Speaker of the House. Same thing with all the 22 people that were in the Republican Party, the same thing, honestly, dude. The only one I can think of offhand was Mike Loychek, and I understand why Loychek did it, and it was basically because he falsely thought, because he was a fucking idiot at the time, falsely assumed that Jason Stevens was going to bring forward pro-2A legislation out of committee, specifically the Second Amendment Preservation Act, aka 2A sanctuary legislation. Still hasn't done it, over 8 months later, by the way. Still sitting in a committee, doing nothing there. Good job, Mike Loychek. You're a dumb fuck. And I'm willing to call you out on that one, dude. For real. You made a terrible decision, bro. You're also one of the 22 people that these people want to keep in office right now. That being said, I know you are a 2A champion, or at least you claim to be anyway, so I wouldn't mind seeing you get reelected for another term, personally. But, that being said, I think it might just be time to primary everybody out right now, dude. Truthfully speaking. The problem is, right now, from my understanding, from what we're going to talk about here on Reddit in a minute here, from a couple days ago that some leftist piece of shit was talking about, Matt Hoffman, who is the current Senate president of Ohio, he's also, if he actually had the balls to impeach DeWine and Husted both, would now be a current sitting governor in the state of Ohio until 2026. He is going to be termed out in 2024 from the Ohio Senate. Of course, just like many others before him, just like Catherine Hicks Hudson, just like Catherine Ingram and Paula Hicks Hudson. I always mix those two up because they're obviously both anti-gun sacks of shit, and they both try to push forward the same legislation all the time. When we were doing constitutional carry here about a year and a half ago, give or take, they were literally trying to put amendments into it to make it so that you could have red flag laws for background checks in there. Again, something that should have seen them removed from office on the spot at that point, dude. There should have been literal sergeant at arms and other police, state patrolmen there, putting the handcuffs on these cunts and yanking the fuck out of their chairs and taking them out of the fucking chambers and taking them off to jail right then and there. And that's the problem right now, is that we're not doing that, dude. Is that we're not having these pieces of shit arrested out of fucking office for the crimes they're committing right now, simply because they're misdemeanors and not felonies, in most cases. Except for Allison, obviously, who did commit a felony on camera. Or like Casey, who also committed a felony himself, but didn't hit himself there. Exactly what I said before, he should be sitting in a prison cell in Oklahoma with Larry Householder at a federal level right now. And have it be the Larry and Casey show. But honestly, that would be a funny... I would laugh, dude, if they actually were in a prison cell together there. And it was just like cameras rolling 24/7 on their asses like 60 days in and stuff like that. And it's just them basically like... sort of like, yeah, it sucks to be in here, bro. Like, I know we did bad or whatever the case be. And like, sort of like scheming or whatever just to like get out early or whatever it be then. Although if it was just a straight up brawl, it'd be even better though. But, you know, that's just wishful thinking, obviously. That being said, basically, Democrat Party is shit. It always has been. They have gone so demon at this point, dude, that they are legit demons. And I say that not to like, you know, disgrace them or disparage them or anything like that. I'm saying it as literally, I believe that most of these people have made Crossroads demon deals to become in positions of power is what it is, to make sure that they can get into office is what it is there. And most of them, especially in the case of Allison Russo or that Abduli woman or Mohammed or any people like that, dude, Dontavius Terrell and all those people down there. This is why I've talked about doing one county, one rep so many times on this channel. Because if we actually had one county, one rep in place right now, none of these ass clowns would be in office at all right now. You would have one of them representing Franklin County, not 11. And the problem is, when you have 11 people representing Franklin County, only one seat of which, by the way, I'm pretty sure it's like 1 through 11 districts are the ones down there. All but one of those is held by a Democrat. 10 of 11 are held by Democrats. That is a fucking problem. Because you have them gerrymandering every major city in the state right now for extra representation. It's why they had 32 jackasses in our General Assembly this time around. It's why you had all 32 of them, under Allison Russo specifically, cut some backdoor deal with Jason Stevens to be like, oh, if you can flip enough of your Republican colleagues there to vote for you, I'll totally bring all 32 Democrats to the table if you want to, you know, do some circle jerk in the back and fucking cut some deals, and you can, we can put your moderate ass in there, and then you can basically cut us deals to have abortion stuff on demand and stuff like that and whatnot. And yeah, he fucking did that shit. And then, of course, what happened after that? Some of the 22 blue, you know, the RINOs in there. Some of the people that also need to be in prison right now in the state of Ohio currently, like your Bill Sykes types, etc. there, all voted for Jason Stevens is what it was, dude. Because they were promised leadership roles. Because obviously how you do this stuff is they have the speaker's vote, which, by the way, I don't care if you want to be Speaker of the House or not, dude. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Same thing federally. It should be we, the people, deciding who our speaker is going to be, dude. And specifically what it should be is, it should be only the majority party has fucking candidates to put up is what it is. In that case, for the state of Ohio, it would be specifically Republicans then. So it would have been Derek Marin, Jason Stevens, and whoever else wanted to throw the hat in the ring for that matter. And it would have been us then conducting a vote in January and being like, yeah, okay, cool. We're going to vote for this person or that person. And then it's like the next day, you know, we know who's going to be the winner. That's what it is. It's not some backdoor fucking bullshit deals where they're like, okay, I'm going to make a bunch of money doing lobbying shit. And then, and this, by the way, this ain't hearsay, by the way. This is all stuff I've talked with my own state rep, Reggie Stolfus, about before. Because I asked him over a year ago, I was saying then before the 2022 midterms, I'm like, why don't you throw your hat in the ring for Speaker of the House? And he's like, yeah, I don't want to have to go raise $1 million from donors. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, Yeah, in order for anybody to become Speaker of the House here in the last like 10 years or so, they've had to do like backdoor lobbying and raise over $1 million in campaign funds, and then donations and stuff like that to even have a chance to get the speakership. How the fuck is that even legal? Is my question. It really should not be. And that's the biggest problem right now. So then, to add insult to injury, you have Matt Hoffman, current Senate president, about to be termed out here, and is now trying to basically, as this post here on Reddit talks about, do away with the 22 blue people and install his own puppets to vote for him for speakership in 2024 is what it is. Well, technically, it'd be get them in power in 2024 election cycle, and then it would be put him into place as speaker come 2025 is what it is here. And we're going to read this whole thing in a minute. Here's what it is. The problem I have with that, though, is, right, so to me, we've already had multiple coups in the state of Ohio. Coup number one was Jason Stevens working with Allison Riss in the Democrat Party to install his ass over Derek Marin. Stevens, 32 Democrats, and several dozen RINO should be in prison right now in the state of Ohio. Coup number two is going to be Matt Hoffman come 2024. Constitutional amendment telling them all to go fuck themselves under the U.S. Constitution and the Ohio Constitution is going to come from the network when we start Article 1, Section 2ing their asses out of office. So, yeah, needless to say, we're going to start getting our own candidates ready, dude. And we're actually going to have grassroots candidates in some of these districts to basically fight off both the incumbent and whoever the fuck Matt Hoffman is trying to push up there is what it is. We're also going to have at least one person, if we can find them, hopefully we can pretty soon, to hopefully primary Hoffman's ass out in that district he's trying to run for right now. I'm not sure which one it's going to be, unfortunately, currently, because that's the problem right now. We still have to do our new maps is what it is, as far as I'm aware right now, because those maps were used for 2022 that those pieces of shit like Maureen O'Connor and the Democrat Party there in the state Supreme Court deemed unconstitutional need to basically be rewritten again here in the next 6-8 months now is what it's going to be before 2024 midterm or 2024 general election and midterms and stuff like that. So roughly about 8 months from now, we're going to have a new set of maps done to do even more redistricting stuff is what it is, as far as I'm aware. At least I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. I don't think they can use the current maps that are on the books right now. Or it might, I can't remember now offhand. It might have been something where maybe they can for like this coming election cycle and then it's going to be in 2026. They have to change them again or something like that. I forget exactly what it was. It's really, that's the problem. It's like there's so much stuff about it and it's like so much, just like jumbled information is what it is. It's not misinformation either, by the way. It's just jumbled information like here and there that you're not sure like what the hell is actually going on and how long they can be used for is what it is there. So yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to be this election cycle they can use them for or not, or if it's going to have to be another election cycle being done or not. And the problem is, I'm not exactly sure which district Hoffman is actually going to run under is what it is, like where he actually lives at there in the state of Ohio. So it wouldn't be until after we find out where he lives that we'd have to go find somebody in that district then to primary his ass out is what it is then. Which at this point would pretty much have to be a self-funded businessman or something like that, because it's going to take a lot of money to primary that motherfucker out, dude. I know Hoffman has some quite a bit of cash in the coffers right now. We're talking several $1 million anyway. And there's no way that some grassroots candidates without cash behind them are going to be able to beat his ass in the general election, dude. Or not general election, in the actual primary election to get to the general election would be then. So, yeah, it's going to take quite a bit to get him out of there is what it is. But that being said, if we can actually do that, it's great for Ohio because if we can actually have a constitutionalist in there, somebody who actually cares about the U.S. Constitution and isn't a term limited piece of shit who's just breaking term limits again, which, by the way, the fact that we, the people of the state of Ohio, voted for term limits like a decade ago or more now, and the fact that these motherfuckers on both parties, both the RINOs and the Democrats and stuff, keep breaking this shit, why the fuck are we allowing them to retake office ever, is what it is. Why the hell is Kirk Shearing still in office? Why the hell is Scott Ollinger still in office? Why the hell is Paul Hughes-Hudson still in office? Why the hell is Catherine Ingram still in office? Why the hell is Kent Smith still in office? Why in the hell is Bob Peterson still in office right now? Why is Shane Wilkins still in office right now? Why is anybody who has, George Lang even for that matter, why are any of these people who have jumped to General Assembly in the past 10 years because they're termed out, why are any of them allowed to remain in office right now? That's my question currently. And the answer is because we the people are not holding their fucking feet to the fire and being like, no, bitch, you're termed the fuck out, get the fuck out and don't come back. We're sick and tired of your fucking two-party bullshit now. And we're going to go ahead and strip away that fucking stupid-ass, retarded bullshit that asswipe Kasich put in place back in 2013 to get himself reelected for another term is what it is. And we're going to have open primary again is what it is. Where you have any party in that place, dude. Doesn't matter if it's Libertarian Party, Green Party, Inter-Libertarian Party, Constitutional Party, whatever the case be. They can all be on the ballot and they can all primary your fucking asses out is what it is. So, anyway. But, there's a couple things I wanted to talk about here. Specifically, when it came to the speakers race, and then also back in 2019, with specifically Larry Household, when he became Speaker of the House then, because I want to talk about some of the people that put his ass into office actually back then, and how some of these people are still in office today, actually. So I think we're going to do that before we do anything else, because Householder was basically the biggest criminal in the state of Ohio currently. And here's the funny thing, right? Householder was also the last speaker that needed to have Democrats get him over the fucking line to get into office there. So that should tell you everything you need to know, dude, about Jason Stevens. Hell, it told me everything I needed to know about Jason Stevens when I literally heard, oh, he was doing some backdoor deal with Allison Russo. The biggest fucking cunt in the Ohio General Assembly right now, the biggest fucking criminal in the Ohio General Assembly right now, a fucking puppet proxy for Moms Demand Action, a bitch who shouldn't even be in office after 2 Mays ago, when she literally took a direct bribe from these fuckers on camera, which, by the way, as far as I'm still aware, that video of her doing that in that House Oversight Committee is still on the Ohio channel back in May of 2021. It was during, I think it was like the third or fourth hearing for constitutional carry back then, is when she took that bribe that day. Because she had her coffee in one hand and she was talking to some MDA members there, and then one handed her that big fat envelope. She's like, oh, cool, thanks, here's all my money. And by the way, at that time, another reason why Alice Russo should have thrown out of General Assembly back then, she was trying to run for U.S. Senate at the time, dude. Or not U.S. Senate, she was trying to run for U.S. Congress at the time. In that special election back in August of 2021, the one that Mike Carey eventually won that race. So, anyway. I can't remember if Alice Russo even made the general election or not, but I know Mike Carey eventually won that seat is what it was, though, for the Republican Party. Now, granted, Mike Carey's since been an anti-gunner sack of shit, though. Same thing, like everybody else, dude. I mean, that's the problem with all of them, dude. They want to sit there and lie their fucking asses off and be all like, oh, yeah, I totally support the Second Amendment, but as soon as I get into office and have a chance to actually, you know, make my voice heard and make my constituents' voices heard by voting down bullshit unconstitutional anti-gun legislation, no, I'm just going to fucking cuck out and do the exact opposite of that and fucking vote through bullshit like the Civil Communities Act, crap like that is what it is, dude, which is what that sack of shit Kerry did a year ago after Uvalde. So, meanwhile, people like myself who are actual constitutionalists would literally take a constitution and bitch slap you across the face with it, motherfucker, and be like, you oath-breaking sack of shit, get the fuck out. So, honestly, at this point, I just need to get a bigger version of the pocket constitution that's like the size of a big old Bible and just be like, where? Be like, oathbreakers. Be like that scarlet letter thing where you got like the scarlet letter on yourself or whatever, but then it just says oathbreaker across it is what it'll be. Obviously, I'm kidding. To some extent, anyway. But, no, that would be funny though, if people were just walking around with like big old like constitutions that just had oathbreaker like as a tattooed thing across it, so they could just like crunch a bunch of oathbreakers and stuff like that. But anyways, so to go back to 2019 here, to the Larry Householder vote. We're going to talk about that real quick, and then we're going to talk about the Blue 22 after this, if that be the case. So back in 2022, these are the people that voted for Householder that were both Republicans and Democrats. At this point, you had Najee Antani in our General Assembly. He's now in our state Senate currently. Another person should be booted out. That being said, Najee is the only one who actually gives a shit about the Constitution when it came to not putting Terry stops in our constitutional carry legislation. He was the only person that voted against that because of that. But yet, back in 2019, as I think at the time he was like a second termer maybe, voted for Householder. I think his is more of a party line vote than anything else there. Brian Boldridge also voted for Householder. John Becker voted for him. James Butler voted for him. Jamie Callender, who is all pro-weed now. He's also kind of a RINO, too, for that matter, because he was also against Issue 1 back then. Or about a few months ago then. Sarah Carruthers, who's pretty much a fucking piece of shit in general. She, I believe, is one of the people who's actually taking bribes and doing, like, pay-to-play stuff in our state house currently. She should be arrested for that kind of stuff. She is also... I believe one of the 22 that voted for Stevens. So then we had John Cross, Anthony DeVitas, Jay Edwards, who is still currently in office. I think it's his last term. Brett Hudson Hillner, who is one of the biggest RINO sacks of shit. This guy votes with Democrats almost every fucking bill that they have out there. Larry Householder voted for himself, obviously. Don Jones voted for him. Chris Jordan, who unfortunately passed away this past year, voted for Stevens, or voted for Householder back in the day. Don Manning voted for Householder, so did Derek Marin, so did Scott Ollinger, who keeps flip-flopping the General Assembly with Kirk Shearing every chance they get. One of them's termed out, the other one flips over to that one, and that person that's termed flips over to that seat that the other person's holding there. Again, something that could be fixed right now if we actually had term limits in our state house right now, and well, not term limits per se, but we had one county, one rep on our books right now as legislation, because if we only had 88 state reps currently, one for every county, you would have two people currently representing Stark County, where I live at, be kicked out of the General Assembly, and you would have one guy or one gal in there is what it would be. Currently, it's three different guys that represent Stark County right now. You have my state rep, Reggie Stolfus. You have the guy who beat Thomas West, being Jim Thomas, who is now in his first term. He's also the co-chair of the committee that Bob Peterson is trying to give gun control legislation to. That's all 100% Democrat bills, so I'm not sure which one was actually one back in that, if it's Peterson or if it's Thomas. But they should probably both be kicked out of that committee chairs, though, just for that shit alone. And if nothing else, be kicked out of the General Assembly entirely, and that be the case. And then Scott Ollinger is the third one in Stark County, then is what it is, who keeps slipping with Kirk Shearing when everyone's voted out of office then through term limits. So, anyway. Then you had Phil Plummer, Jenna Powell. I think that was her first term in office back then. Tracy Richardson, Bill Romer, Tim Schaefer, who's now in our state senate. Jeffrey Todd Smith, who I've never heard of that guy before this. Nino Vitale was one of the guys who voted for Householder. Vitale, I think, was a party line vote probably, just because of the fact that guy was pretty pro-2A after that's what it was. Same thing with Scott Wiggum. Scott Wiggum's been a pro-2A champion since then. Shane Wilkin, who was the RINO sack of shit, who held up constitutional care for over a year in his committee, and we could have actually had Ohio be 22 and 22, but because of Shane Wilkin's bitch ass. Go ahead and show a picture of Shane Wilkin here. This little fucking RINO sack of crap. We were actually 23 because Brian Kemp scumbagged us and snaked us out of 22 by signing into place immediately there in Georgia. And then Paul Witziger was the other person who voted for Householder for the Republican Party. And then for the Democrats, we had Christine Boggs, who has been an anti-gunner since 2019. She was actually, I believe she is now in, it's either Cleveland or Cincinnati's city council. Janine Boyd, who was the baby-killing sack of shit back in the day, who literally had the audacity and wasn't kicked out of the General Assembly that day, honestly, when she did this shit, was trying to cite slavery back in, like, 2018. Or no, was it even 2017? I'm thinking about it. Somewhere in there. Like 2017, 2018, whenever we did the heartbeat bill then. She was literally trying to cite slavery for why black women should be allowed to abort children still. That's how fucked up that female is, by the way, dude. And why she should be in a nut house, not in a fucking state house. Juanita Brent is another one of these sacks of shit. Richard Brown, who little cheated his way back into office his last General Assembly. Jack Serra. Erica Crowley, who's a literal sack of shit. Jeff Crossman, who's another sack of crap. Cedric Denson, who I believe was I believe actually a few of these people are still in our state house right now. I want to say Crowley ended up getting a like county commissioner seat or something, or like a mayorship or some shit like that of like a smaller town or something, and that's why she's no longer in the General Assembly. And then they appointed some Democrat into her place, is what it was there. And then, of course, you got Jeff Crossman, Cedric Denson, Tabby Golonsky, Paula Hicks Hudson, who's now in our state Senate. Should have been thrown out of it. Glenn Holmes, Stephanie House, who's the biggest racist piece of shit, by the way. She's also a Cleveland City Councilwoman now. This is the bitch, by the way, that every chance she had on Twitter in the past, like, 5 years, basically, before she was eventually termed out of office, there's what it is, had the audacity to sit there and talk shit about her quote-unquote white colleagues in the Republican Party is what it was. And going back to the Democrats, though, then you had, besides that, you had Dave Leland, Michelle Lupenhagen, Adam Miller, who's one of the biggest anti-gunners in our state house currently, Michael O'Brien, Phil Robinson, another one of those people that... Phil Robinson was also one of the primary sponsors in 2019 after Dayton for, I think it was universal background checks. Michael Sheeney, who is just a sack of crap. Mike Skindell, who is, I believe, I'm going to check the... Okay, doesn't have his picture. I'm pretty sure it was Skindell was the douchebag who was all like bitching and moaning like a little kid is what it was. Kent Smith, who's now in our state Senate after breaking term limits. Lisa Sabaki, who's out of the office, thank God. Bride Rose Sweeney, who is just a sack of crap in general. Amelia Sykes, who cheated her way into the U.S. Congress now. God, I hate that fucking woman with a passion, dude. She is a straight racist. She is a black supremacist if I've ever seen one in my entire life, dude. This bitch would never have gotten ahead of her family, not basically gotten her there. By the way, her family, the Sykes family, between herself, Vernon, and her mother... so her dad, Vernon, Amelia, and her mom, they held the exact same congressional seat in the state of Ohio for over 20 years. There was one guy for a single term who held that seat between them. But between Vernon and his wife, they held it for like 14, 15 years, something crazy like that. And then after that, you had this dude win for like a term is what it was. And then you had Amelia end up getting in that seat after that, if that be the case. And she held it for like 8 years then. So it was like 22 to 24 years, something crazy like that. That's what that family held it for, dude. That's a fucking dynasty, bro. Like, how is that even legal, by the way? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's not. And that's the entire point, dude. You should not have one fucking family holding a damn U.S. or a damn state Senate seat, or not state Senate seat, a damn state rep seat for like 2+ decades is what it is, man. It's fucking ridiculous. Anyway, going back to the list here. Then you had Terrence Upchurch, Thomas West, who thankfully was voted out by Jim Thomas. This is the fucking idiot, by the way, whose office I called after kids were fighting each other at the Stark County Fair in 2021. And this dumb motherfucker had the audacity to be like, oh, let me have my aide call you back and then lie to your fucking face and tell you that I'm totally supporting legislation to deal with fatherless homes, and I'm not at all. Yeah, fuck you, Thomas West. But you know what's funny about this list, by the way, of the 26 Democrats that voted for householder, is the biggest lying sack of shit of them all, Mr. Hate Hoaxer himself, Casey fucking Weinstein. I fucking knew you voted for householder, you dickless piece of shit. I knew you were a fucking liar, Casey. You want to sit there and lie about you didn't vote for householder, you fucking lying prick? Yet there's little evidence here of it, you fucking douchebag. Yeah, keep on lying, Casey. Keep on fucking lying. Keep on lying how you fucking had your dumbass fucking friends come out to your fucking house like a year and a half ago that were in support of your dumbass, and then you're talking about like, oh, there was an insurrection at my house, and these people want to hurt me and my family. No, they were there to fucking support your dumbass for some reason. I don't fucking know why. Maybe because you're a lying sack of crap, claiming to be an actual military vet when the only thing you were was a fucking lawyer for the U.S. military. Saw zero combat in your entire worthless-ass career. Just at some fucking embassy doing a bunch of paperwork all day long. And it's no wonder you're an anti-gun sack of shit, dude. Because you're the biggest scumbag of all. You're the biggest hypocrite of all. You're the kind of guy who will sit there and be like, as a military vet, I totally don't support assault weapons and weapons of war and all this other bullshit. It's like, because you know nothing about anything, dude. You know nothing about how the whole bullshit term assault weapons was created by fucking Clinton and Democrats in the 1980s/90s to pass an AWB in 1994 is what it was. And then, of course, California's one in like 86 or 87, whatever it was there. You know jack shit about guns at all. If you did, you'd actually understand that, like, your buddies in Mom Demand Action who love to cite fucking kids when they're citing 18 and 19-year-old gangbangers as children in their statistics, are claiming that those kids are the highest killed set of people in the state or in the country right now by firearms. And they're like, oh yeah, from 0 to 19 years old, it's all these kids being killed by firearms every year. And it's like, no, it's a bunch of adult males at 18 and 19 and a bunch of gangbangers that are between like 14 and 17 that are killing each other using stolen firearms that they either stole by crashing a vehicle into a gun shop and then jacking a bunch of guns from the gun shop, or it's they'll walk around different places and pull on handles of car doors and see if they can find an open car door and then rummage around the bottom of the seats and stuff like that, see if they can find a gun in there or something, and sometimes they do. So they steal it. You know? It's all kinds of stuff like that. Or it's that they'll just have a bunch of people straw purchasing for them is what it is there. So, anyway. I really hate Casey Weinstein, dude. Like, I really fucking hate this guy so much is what it is, dude. I really wish Ohio had mutual combat laws in the books right now, because I would totally fucking challenge him to mutual combat at this point so many fucking times. Oh, man. Put that motherfucker in his place once and for all is what it is. By the way, for those that don't know why I hate Casey Weinstein, here's a small list of why I hate Casey Weinstein. He's a liar. He loves to play identity politics every chance he gets. He loves to bring up his status of what he is religiously and then try to lord that over everybody, dude. Because he knows if you say stuff about that on social media, that they'll try to channel strike you and stuff like that. You all know what he is, actually. He's the only, starts with a J. I'm not going to say the rest of it is what it is there. But anyway, he always says that shit, obviously. While at the same time, by the way, going out there and stomping against issue 1, literally door knocking on people's doors, being like, this is why you should support baby killing in November. Which, ironically enough, by the way, it's kind of funny, though, because I'm seriously about to get one of those issue 1 is bullshit signs right now, because of the fact that come November, the abortion amendment will be issue 1 now. It won't be the issue 1 that was an August election, where it was to get a 6% threshold here. It's now going to be the abortion amendment as the issue 1 there. And issue 2 is going to be the weed amendment, by the way, which I found out recently. Here's something interesting about the weed thing real quick. Voting against weed, by the way, recreationally, because you know why? Because as it turns out, that bullshit grassroots, as I thought it was, the relegate weed like alcohol people, which, by the way, were the same people that got it passed there in Colorado like a decade ago or so, they're all funded by George Soros, legitimately. That's why Soros can go fuck himself in the state of Ohio, dude. No chance in hell am I letting a Nazi collaborator and George Soros make any fucking dimes off of Ohio tax dollars, dude, for weed. The only people that are making money off that shit are going to be people like myself and other Ohioans, motherfuckers. Not some fucking trillionaire sack of shit who literally collaborated with Hitler to amass his own fucking fortune. By the way, for those who know that story about George Soros, I told it before on this channel. It's actually in a 60-minute interview on YouTube here. Soros, back in the day, as a child, like he was basically a young teenager at the time is what it was, and like I want to say it was Poland, maybe. He basically escaped with his uncle from that time, you know, falsifying his records and stuff like that to get out of the insurgency of the Nazis back then. 3 or 4 years later, while the shit was still going on there, like I think it was like either the very late 1930s or early 1940s is what it was then. Like 42, 43, somewhere in there, like before America got involved there is what it was. He went back into Nazi-occupied Germany then at that point, and other places around there, the other like Austria and places like that is what it was, and would literally work with the SS guards to out other Jewish people, because he was Jewish himself, by the way, and he would out other Jewish people, other Jewish families there, be like, oh yeah, these people over here, these people over here, these people over here. And then you'd have a bunch of SS troops go in there, arrest those people, take them off to death camps. Soros would sneak up in there and start grabbing anything of wealth from these people's homes that he could. And then also figuring out ways to basically forge land deeds and stuff like that to put it into his own name is what it was. That's how that piece of shit amassed his fortune back in the 1930s and 40s, dude. That's who George Soros really is. And that's who is backing financially the pro-weed amendment here in Ohio, and has done so in every state across this country for the last decade plus now. That's the same piece of shit who, back when issue 1 was a thing in August, to make Ohio 60% threshold, that's a scumbag motherfucking sack of crap. Actual fucking Nazi collaborator who was funding the Vote No campaign, who bamboozled people with the one person, one vote bullshit. And yet people wonder why I hate George Soros, dude. Maybe because, I don't know, he helped legitimately send thousands of people to their deaths so that his greedy ass could take their fucking money and amass his own fortune using that money that was stolen wealth. It's the exact same reason why I hate Casey Weinstein's bitch ass, because he's not one of these little fuckers, but he's not billions behind his ass is what it is. Because you know damn well Casey would do the same thing if he could, dude. It's why he's always trying to disarm people. You know? It's exactly why the Democratic Party entirely is trying to disarm people, dude. Because they know if we're armed, we can actually fight back against their tyranny. If we're unarmed, they're just gonna kick our fucking doors in the middle of the night, rip us out of our beds, black bag us over the fucking head, and drag us off to parts unknown, to some death camp. Because that's what it is, man. You know, it's like people have said in the past, you know, history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. And in some cases, it does straight up repeat is what it is, man. Or it comes very close to a repetition is what it is. So, yeah, I'm not the least bit surprised that Casey's a lying sack of shit. Anyway, to finish the rest of this off, though, we're going to talk about this Reddit article with the Blue 22 people who are calling Derek Marin a Chryso-fascist jihadist, which I don't even know what the fuck that means, by the way. For those wondering what jihadists actually are, just look at Abduli and Mohammed in Ohio State House right now, dude. And you can see what actual jihadists are in this country. So, by the way, for those interested, a jihadist is somebody who wants to do a jihad. Actually, let's look at the textbook definition here. Jihadist, a person who advocates or takes part in a jihad. A jihad being a struggle or fight against the enemies of Islam. So, okay. So, even that alone, how are you going to call a guy that's a Christian male a jihadist? What? What the fuck? But by like, oh my god! But that's the thing with the left, dude. They don't fuck. They're just hive mind. Like I said before, it's them. They're literally a fucking hive mind. They have like an inkling of a fucking brain in their heads. It's like that one little nugget with like 2 or 3 brain cells in it that just forms with other little nuggets amongst like 1,000 other people or whatever the case be, and they have like one functioning brain among them is what it is then. So, anyways. Yeah, this person a couple days ago named, what is their stupid username here? Chipperson1 said, if you're like me, you hate Republicans with the fury of 1,000 suns. No, that'll be Democrats, dude, and RINOs too, for that matter. So, however, Speaker Stevens, who is a bag of ass, way to describe the guy who's the actual like fourth in line of succession right now, dumbasses, said was elected Speaker of the Ohio House by Democrats, 32 of them, by the way, and 22 Republicans, and then it says, quote, for petty reasons, to defeat Rep. Derek Marin, who is a Chryso-fascist jihadist. Again, he's none of that stuff. Because in order to be a jihadist, you'd have to actually be advocating in favor of Islam, which he is not. He's a Christian male. He's the opposite of that, actually. Anyway, it says this upset a lot of Republicans, hence the term Blue 22. Senate President Matt Hoffman will be termed out in the U.S. Senate, or the Ohio Senate, and returning to the Ohio House. Well, I love how they act as if he's just going to return to the Ohio House. No, dude, he has to be voted back into the Ohio House first, is what it is. What they mean is Hoffman's going to be termed out here in 2024 in the Ohio Senate, and then simply try to flip-flop the General Assembly, breaking term limits, and run in a district for the State House again, is what it is there, to get reelected into an office yet again for another term. So, by the way, everything they're going to see after this right now only works if Hoffman actually gets into office himself, for that matter. he could still be primaried out by somebody I'm actually backing, or some other constitutionalists for that matter that would be in that race for that matter, you know? So, anyway. And when I say me, I'm basically talking about the people that the network here finds for that district to run is what it would be then. And any other district the Hoffman's trying to install some puppet in. But anyway, but yeah, they're talking about Hoffman basically trying to go back to the Ohio House now and intends to become a speaker, said, which would be very, very, very bad. With Matt Hoffman as speaker, there will be nothing stopping us from going full Idaho, Texas, or Florida. Oh, so we'd become more pro-2A, more pro-life, more red state? I don't see what the problem is here, honestly, truthfully speaking. You know? Like, the only problem I see is that you fucking Democrats still have voting rights in the state, honestly. That's the only thing I see about it. So, anyway. I continue, though. Let's see. Guy said to do this, Matt Hoffman is going to primary each of, well, what that means is he's going to attempt to primary each of the blue 22 in safe Republican districts so he can install a rep, aka puppet, that will help make him speaker in 2024, which technically wouldn't be 2024. It would be them all getting elected in 2020. Like, I don't think people understand how things work, dude. Like, again, this is the problem with Democrats that have very limited brain capacity is what it is. Because in the first place, they're all running for office next year in 2024, you jackass. So it'd be the primaries and stuff like that, and then eventually getting into the general elections would be then in 2024 there. And what it is, you'd basically have, so it'd be Hoffman and like 21 other people pretty much is what they're saying there, is what I'm guessing, honestly. So, unless, of course, what it is you would have somebody else who's going to be termed out here pretty soon. That would be in the district that Hoffman's going to run in, and then that person's simply going to flip-flop with him the same way that Olinger flip-flopped with Kirk Shearing in the past few years now, where it would be, you know, whoever that term person is, because there are a few of them right now, like Jay Edwards and stuff like that, if I'm not mistaken, is termed out. So it could be something where it's like Jay Edwards goes over to the speakership, or goes over to the Senate there, and that flipping, and then you have Hoffman basically go for Edwards' seat is what it would be then. And it'd be something like that then. But again, that all the things they're talking about right now factor on, number one, Matt Hoffman even getting elected back into the Ohio House there, and not just simply being primaried up by somebody else for that matter. And number two would actually be for every person that Hoffman's backing, all, 21, 22 people then, to actually get in themselves then for that matter. So yeah, you'd have to basically have like 23 people get into office then to have it be a thing where he actually gets back, then it'll be. And not to mention that same vein of things, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if you actually had them get smart now and start targeting Democrats right now, dude, which they should be at this point, honestly. The fact that you do not have Allison Russo for the past, 3 different general elections have any person running against her in the general election, or even the primary for that matter. Same thing with Dontavius Jarrells, and also, who's the number? I'm trying to think now. I'm going to go back to the Ohio House of Reps right now. Letitia Humphrey. She was one of the people that was installed back in 2021, I believe is what it was, in District 2. And then she won an uncontested primary. Or yeah, it was either the beginning of 2022 or it was the end of 2021 where she was put in place there by somebody basically leaving, and then she was appointed by Democrat Party is what it was. And then she basically became a technical first-term rep then, but she's going to be out of office like a year or two before that's what it'll be now, because of being appointed there. The entire point is, though, is that she never actually won a race to even get into office to begin with. She was appointed into office, and then during that primary season, she was never beating anybody in the primary. She's never beating anybody in the general election either for 2022. So both her and Dontavius Jarrells are holding office after one-horse races is what it is. Same thing with Allison Russo for that matter. So you have multiple Democrats doing the same thing. And I've said it before, too, as well, for that matter. There are entire districts in the state of Ohio right now that are so gerrymandered red. And I've done this, I don't know how long ago it was I did that, actually. I need to redo that again sometime here in the future is what it is. I believe it was like the first 100 grandstands or something I did on this channel. We did like a whole thing of how many different people got into office in 2022 here in the state of Ohio that did not beat anybody in either primaries or general elections for that matter. And it was a lot of fucking people, dude. Like I think there was like a dozen something Democrats, and there was like over 20 something Republicans for that matter that were basically uncontested one-horse races. And again, this is the issue right now, dude. It's like, no, if you're not going to beat anybody in that district, dude, then that entire district needs to be folded into another one is what it is then. And it should be the same exact way, which could easily be done away with multiple districts here, if we simply went with a one county, one rep piece of legislation on the books. That would become law, and you would have one fucking person in every single county be a state rep then. And then from there, you would have the state senate go from 33 people to 22 people, because you would have each one of those people become the state senator over four different counties. Would it be then? And at that point, it would not matter how many people are in those counties. By the way, it would just be, hey, you're representing these 4 counties. Is what it would be, and you would just chop up the fucking counties. It would be like, here's these top 4 right there. There's a district. These 4 are here, another district. These 4 are here, another district. These 4 are here, another district. These 4 over here, another district, and so forth and so on, all throughout the fucking thing. And yeah, you could have some people representing like 1 million people, and maybe some people representing like 2,000 people or something crazy like that, which I don't think it'd be quite that low, but it would be like maybe like 20,000 people or something, because of the rural areas of Ohio and stuff like that. But it doesn't matter, honestly. Again, it would be an equal representation of districts is what would be there, because you would have enough people to represent all of them without having to do some bullshit thing where you're like, oh, let's just add in like 11 other districts because we're going to basically chop these up into like 110,000 people a piece or something like that. That's what it is. I think that's what it is, actually, if I'm not mistaken, because there's like almost 12 million people in the state of Ohio, and that's basically what it is. It's like they slice the districts in these weird positions of what it is there, so they can basically do like some weird ass thing where it's like 100,000 or 110,000 people a piece is what it is there or something for the 33, or maybe it's not quite that many. Maybe it's like 97,000, something like that. I forget. It's something real weird like that, dude. And it's just like, honestly, the first time I heard about that was last year when they were doing registering stuff and stuff like that in here in Ohio. And I'm like, what the hell kind of retarded fucking shit is this, dude? Like, no. 11 of you, go fuck yourselves, get out, and we'll simply have 22 then, and we'll just do 4 apiece for these people is what it is, dude. And that way you take our General Assembly from 132 people right now to 110. You have less government overreach is what it is then. And you get rid of some of the biggest pieces of shit of all of them, dude, is what it is. So, anyways. I digress. But going back to that Blue 22 thing there. Let's see. So this person was talking about Hoffman trying to install people in the 22 blue districts there. In the districts of the 22 that voted for Stevens. So what they really mean, honestly, on that one is you would have them trying to get Stevens booted out along with 21 other Republicans then. Now the Blue 22 is what it is. Anyway, this Chipperson one person said, my point, if you live in a non-competitive district and you have a Blue 22 rep, please consider voting for them in the Republican primary. If it's a competitive district, there are a few that could elect a Democrat, do what you want. The Republicans that make up the Blue 22 are also a bunch of assholes. Speaker Stevens is a spineless asshole as well. So basically you're talking shit about the people is what it is, dude. He said, however, Stevens is the only thing stopping us from becoming cartoonishly bad. I mean, worse. Things are already bad, and so much worse for education and marginalized groups. Oh, and once you get the Blue 22 Republican through their primary, by all means, vote for the Democrat in general. Fuck you, you Democrat cunts. Seriously. That's what I have to say to that shit, dude. You guys prove yet again why you should not have voting rights in this country at all. Which, by the way, dickhead, if you're actually voting Republican in a primary, guess what you're going to be voting in the general election, asswipe? You're still voting Republican, you dumb motherfucker. You can't change your fucking vote after that, you idiot. So sitting there telling people to vote Republicans and stuff like that in their districts, dude. Good job. Now you have much more people getting on Republican tickets, what it is, dude. And you have much more people voting Republican than for that general election is what it would be then. So, way to fuck over the Democrat Party there, though. Maybe that's actually, you know what would be kind of funny, I'm thinking about it on that one. Maybe this person isn't a leftist. Maybe they're acting like a leftist. And it's basically like that 5D chess move where it's actually just them being like, vote Republicans. And in reality, like the person behind that account, that Chipperson 1 account, is actually some Republican state rep right now. It's actually one of the Blue 22 is what it is. That's simply trying to get reelected into office. And then from there, it would be them getting their buddies all elected on office or whatever too then. And at the same time, it's now all these dumbasses that were Democrat people are now voting in the Republican general election. Oh, that'd be hilarious, dude. That would be a boss move, honestly. I'm not even going to lie, man. That being said, do I really think that's what's going on there? No, I don't, because the Democrats are too fucking stupid for that kind of thing, dude. That being said, again, it would have to be that person behind the account actually being a Republican of some kind, state rep, whatever the case be there. Now, granted, if that was it, if it was that kind of person, though, yeah, that would be a total boss move from the Republican Party. That would be the case, dude. So, do I think that's what this person is, though? Probably not, though. And just to prove that right now, I'm actually going to go back to that. I'm going to click on that person's information there on Reddit and see exactly what kind of other posts they put forward there, just to prove my point that they're just some dumbass Democrats, what it is, or some dumbass leftist type. Okay, so they started this account like 10 years ago. Let's see. This person said a day ago. Let's see more on that one. See, this person said, I found that I only voted in the Republican primary to vote against your boy, got me quickly, and permanently removed from the R mailing list the one time I did. To which that Chipperson guy responded back and said, I plan on voting against Frank LaRose in primary because I hate him vigorously. Let's see. So that person from Toledo said, will do my part in trying to vote out the shithead Derek Marin I actually liked. Erica Hosey, who was his Democrat opponent in the last election. Unfortunately, I think I'm not racist, but racism worked against her. Hope whoever's against him points out his shit record on literally everything. They can get rid of him. And then the Chipperson guy said, think he's termed out, but not sure he will reemerge somewhere else. So here's my problem with that, right? So you have the person that he was against there talking about she wasn't racist or whatever the case be. I think that's what it was. She probably was a racist piece of shit, honestly, dude, because most Democrats are at this point. They're just lying their fucking asses off and being hypocrites and shit like that's what it is. That's why they're also, by the way, going to go ahead and grab it out real quick here because we have it on deck right now. They always love to play the race card every chance they get. Especially the black females in the Democrat Party, for that matter. That's one thing I've noticed a lot lately, dude, in the last probably 5 years or so, give or take. But yeah, they're all fucking scumbags. And the entire point is, though, is that honestly the saddest part is when you look at all these black females that are in the Democrat Party, not only are they the most racist of all, they're racist against their own race, even for that matter, dude. Because they'll be the ones like the Jean Boy types and stuff like that that'll be like, and this is why black women should be able to kill their kids in the womb. And it's like, so you're literally calling for the extermination of a race because you're a piece of shit? Like, what the fuck? Like, seriously, dude. Like, that is some straight Hitlerian shit right there, Jean Boy. Jesus Christ. You know? So, anyway. Yeah, bitch is fucking nuts, man, for real. I still can't believe that they let her stay in office after that shit, dude. Like, that should have been her final minutes in office, honestly, on that one, because it should have been like, Sergeant at Arms, arrest this dumb cunt. She is literally trying to kill kids. So, anyway. But, yeah, needless to say, the thing about it is, though, the reason that the Democrat Party is such shit in the state of Ohio, dude, is because they are trying to elect the most retarded people possible. They're putting up the worst possible candidates every single election, who, by the way, as I've said many times, is the possible 20th Amendment of the Constitution right now, of, you know, age limits, term limits, health limits, auto DQs on office or running for office. These people would all be DQ'd from even running for office under the platforms they run for, because it would be, they want abortion on demand until the moment of birth or even after it. They want to grab guns every chance they get, which is a direct violation of the sworn oath they take to office when they get into office. So they're pre-oath breaking at that point. They're a bunch of pre-oath breakers is what it is. And on top of all that, then, they are just horribly unlikable people is what it is, dude. They are super racist in most cases. You know, they are openly fucking racist about their racism is what it is their Democrat Party is. By the way, they will never actually admit that they were actually the fucking party behind the KKK ever. But yet they created both the KKK and Black Lives Matter, for that matter. You know, the two biggest racist organizations in the 20th and 21st century, respectively, is what it is here. So, anyway, ironically enough, going back to where am I right now? Yeah, going back to what I was going to talk about here, which is how the Democrat Party in the past like 10 years or so has actually failed hard in the state of Ohio. So going back to 2014, this is back when you had Democrats actually having like some power. Here's what it is. So basically, when you look back at how Ohio has changed to a red state over the past decade or so, it basically goes back to roughly like 2012, 2013. It was Obama's administration that basically, his second term in office is basically what caused Ohio to flip red like crazy. Which, by the way, Ohio being the bellwether state at the time it was, predicted Obama winning. We also predicted Trump winning both times, which was true both times. And if it wasn't for cheating ass Biden stealing the presidency, Trump would be in president right now. So, and I will say that without conviction every single time, dude, because it's fucking truth at the end of the day. But yeah, so basically going back to here, you go back to 2014. This is as of November 7, 2016. So this is the 2014 to 2016 November General Assembly then. Republicans held 64 seats. Democrats held 34 seats. November 8th, 2016, Republicans, after winning 2 more seats, held 66. Democrats held 33 at the time then. And at that point, there was 1 vacated seat, by the way, out of that 99 then. So you had one of them win election then, and you had another one flip from Democrat to Republican. So that was 2016. Then going back to the 2018 midterms, you actually have Republicans lose a little bit here. You had them actually lose 5 seats to Democrats, and Democrats actually went up by 6 seats because there was 1 vacated before 2018 midterms. So you had Democrats actually do a 38 to 61 split then. And then here is where it becomes interesting. 2020, you had Republicans go from 61 to 64, and Democrats go from 38 to 35. So they actually lost 3 seats there in the 2020 election cycle. Then here in the 2022 midterms, they kept losing and actually lost 3 more seats to where Republicans now have an actual supermajority if we wanted to do anything with it at 67 seats right now. And Democrats have 32 currently. So if all Republicans actually were, had the balls right now and just backed each other, they would be unstoppable right now, dude. And that's what I'm saying. So technically speaking, if you had Matt Hoffman be able to do his basically coup is what it is here, which I'm going to call it because that's what it really is at the end of the day. If you have him be able to pull this coup off in the general election here in 2024 and the midterms in 2024, here's what it is. Or not the midterms, the primaries in 2024 here. You could potentially have Hoffman and 22 other people that would potentially be his people is what it is at that point, his stooges and stuff like that, get into office, primary out a bunch of RINOs and stuff like that, like your Sarah Carruthers types and shit like that. Take those seats of power, get in there, and you have them, and you have whoever's left from Derek Marin's, Republican Party at that point, because there were all the people that were the, 40-something people there that are still Republicans there. It was like 44, 45, something like that, are the ones that back Marin then for the actual leadership role in the Republican Party here in the state of Ohio as a true champion is what it was there. So if you got all those dudes together, man, and they're all backing a Hoffman speakership then, so you actually have 67 people then backing Hoffman, he's going to win that hands down. Hell, even if you had like 10 defect over to the Democrat Party and shit like that, it would still be like 50-something to 40-something then. And you still have them win then. And, like I said, if we can actually do things right now, like I could basically work with some of these people, maybe even for that case. It's like the devil kind of thing at that point. Getting out a bunch of these Democrats first. Your Alice Russo types, Casey Weinstein types, etc. Kicking out their districts entirely is what it would be then. Then you have a smaller General Assembly, even for that matter. So you'd have to get less votes then to get a speakership. And then things would get real interesting after that, motherfuckers. Now, granted, do I really like Matt Hoffman? Not really. I really don't like that guy at all, dude. I don't believe he's as bad as they're saying from the Democrat Party there. But Hoffman's definitely a slippery sack of shit in general, dude. He's had 8 years in the state Senate right now, dude. He's done some good stuff for Ohio. You know, he helped pass constitutional carry and stand your ground. But then again, because of him and other people in leadership roles there, they helped water down both those pieces of legislation. Instead of having a true stand your ground law where you can't be sued by victims' families and stuff like that, which they're not really, actually, I shouldn't say that right. Let me rephrase that now. They're not victims. When they are literally committing a fucking crime against you and you kill them in self-defense, you're the fucking victim. The people that had to shoot in self-defense are the victims. It's the perpetrators' families, the people that actually did the crime, would not be able to sue you under real stand your ground. The problem is, as Reggie Stolfist and I had a conversation a year ago about this whole thing, quote unquote, we didn't have the votes to pass it without putting that bullshit amendment in there. How the fuck are you not going to have the votes, dude, when you have over 60 people in the fucking state house? Get the fucking votes, motherfucker. Or tell the people that are going to vote against it to get the fuck out of office, and we'll replace them with people who will do their fucking job. Like, how about that? You know? And that's the problem right now. So irritating. That being said, how am I trying to say this now? I can't remember what I was going to say now. Yeah, that being said, we need the real stand your ground in place right now, dude. Just like we need a real constitutional carry. Not the bullshit Terry Stop crap that can fuck over underage teens and stuff like that is what it is, dude. Like, I'll always bring up that one kid that was on the OP Live cop show there. 19 years old, up in Toledo there. Gets pulled over for window tint, which is the Terry Stop shit they had into the constitutional carry after the fact. To get it past the thing. And it was not until fucking dumbasses in the NRA jumped in there and started doing that crap to push it through there, as well as I think Buckeye Firearms was also involved in that to some extent as well, for that matter. Yeah, it was Ohio Patriot Education Network at the time under Ohio's Firearms Freedom, along with Ohio Gunners, that was actually pushing forward good legislation there that didn't have that shit written to it. And then it's literally fucking, 1 yard line right before we fucking take the football over the damn goal line. And these assholes step up in there and are like, oh, wait. We got to add in some Terry stops to this now. Fuck you, NRA. Fuck you, Buckeye Firearms. Fuck you, DJ Swearingen, who introduced the damn legislation, you RINO sack of shit. And I can't remember if DJ Swearingen was actually one of the ones that voted for Stevens or not at this point. That's what I was trying to find the fucking who actually voted for who there is what it was. The problem is I can't find it easily is what it is, which it should be just a thing that you can find like easily the names and shit. But the problem is whenever you look it up, it just says Jason Stevens wins speakership, and then it talks about him having 22 people vote for him is what it is there. It doesn't say the names verbatim is what it is though. Which is bullshit, because it's like, dude, you have the fucking thing there. Give me the damn thing where they have the fucking things that are red and blue on that. And I can show you exactly who voted for fucking Stevens then. Which, ironically enough, as far as I'm aware since then, some of these people have realized that Jason Stevens is actually a sack of shit right now. And it's not really the Blue 22 anymore, which that term was coined like months and months ago is what it was, like back in January, February this year is what it was. And since then, back in like March, April and stuff like that, so about 4 or 5 months ago now, you've actually had some of these Republicans realize what a sack of shit Jason Stevens really is what it is, dude. And he's not going to put their legislation forward. And they've actually rejoined Derek Merritt's side now. So it's not really the Blue 22 anymore. It's like the Blue 18 or something is what it actually will be then. So, anyway. But yeah, all the people that were behind him and stuff like that, like all the people that are the leadership roles right now in the Republican Party, underneath Stevens and stuff like that, like House Majority Leader and stuff like that is what it is. These are all the people that basically got in because they voted for Stevens. And that was the reason that they voted for him, was because they're like, well, I'll totally make sure you get over the fucking line, but you got to give me this like House Majority Leadership or this, whip leadership, whatever it is there and whatnot. And then meanwhile, that was the deal that Allison Russo cut with Derek Merritt, was that she became Minority Leader of the House of Representatives here in the state of Ohio. And then it was like her selected fucking chosen people then became like the minority whip and shit like that's what it was then. So, not to mention they also made some backdoor deal about like Stevens not putting forward like good legislation, which he's actually kind of scumbagged her a little bit on that since then to some extent by helping push forward other legislation that was like pro parent and stuff like that, and like, you know, fuck your demonic communist bullshit of trying to kill kids in the womb, bitch, and sterilize children. So yeah, he's done his own thing a little bit here and there, but he's still a sack of crap though, because he still hasn't put forward gun legislation in our General Assembly that would be pro 2A stuff. Which honestly, at this point, I'm sorry to say, man, like Second Amendment Preservation Act should already be law right now in the state of Ohio. It should have been law since the beginning of the fucking year. Honestly, it should have been literally House Bill number 1 is what it should have been. Or if it wasn't House Bill number 1, it should have been House Bill number 9. And you guys know what I mean by 9 because it'd be 9mm. By the way, if I ever was a state rep in the state of Ohio, it would legitimately be, you would just see like my name, which is obviously starts, my first name is Adam, and it would say, it would have my name Adam on there and stuff like that, and be like, it would be stuff like 9, 18, 22, 23, 223. If we got to it like 556, stuff like that. So obviously 357, we'd try to get 44 too for 44 Magnum. If we got up to the 400s, it'd be like 410. We would attempt to get 12 for 12 gauge, et cetera, because I'll be like gun calibers and stuff like that. So, yeah. That being said, unfortunately, I think there's a lot of, like, between General Assemblies is what it is. They already are doing stuff in between the times, usually. The people that are going to be back in office, no matter what is what it is. They'll usually put forward legislation from, like, the last General Assembly to the new one. That'll be, like, the first, like, 20 bills or something is what it is there. Which I think is wrong, honestly, because it's like, nah, bro, like, fuck you. Get the hell out of here with that shit. We're going to do our own first 20 is what it is then. So, anyways. But, yeah. That being said, it's a bunch of shit either way, man. And yeah, of course, Weinstein's going to lie his fucking ass off about stuff there. So, let's see here. Just trying to see what kind of post this person put up here. Okay, so going to that Chipperson one person's account there again on Reddit before we finish this off today, just showing that there are just hardcore leftists here. So they had the Blue 22, then we had another one from 2 months ago that says, remember Frank LaRoe said it's wrong to change rules just because you're losing. And then we had 2 months ago, Ohio divided on ballot measure, threatening abortion predictions. And it was voting rights, abortion, and animal abuse. That was 4 months ago. This person also said a few months ago, remember a reminder of what we were dealing with, meaning the Democrat Party, basically talking about Republicans and stuff like that. Then it was Rep. Brian Stewart opposes law students lactating the clitoris? The fuck is that? Oh, that's from that stupid ass Rooster bullshit. That guy's the biggest fake news sack of crap ever, dude. It's a fucking ass clown person. That was about abortion stuff on that one, I think, so if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Lieutenant Governor John Husted lashes out at Democrats over allegations at his face on some uncanny valley shit and looks like a wax mannequin right before he starts melting. Okay, let's see that picture, actually. I mean, to be fair, he kind of does. Oh, by the way, for those interested, 2026, when I try to run for governorship then, most likely it'll be Houston I'm trying to run against is what it is. He'll be the most likely candidate to be in there for the Republican primary then. And then there'll be a few other people jumping up too, sure, of like state reps and stuff like that. But I will do what I can to win is what it is, dude, because fuck all these people is what it is, man. For real. They're all a bunch of scumbags. Then we had Bill Seitz, scumbag ass. That guy's a sack of crap in general. This is, by the way, Bill Seitz is the asshole who he was trying to when we were trying to pass constitutional carry like almost 2 years ago now, he was the same jerk off who there was an amendment at the time that would have allowed for anybody under the age of 21 to be able to carry whatever the fuck they wanted, is what it was. Because obviously, you had to be over 21 to carry a gun. But you could have been like 18, 19, 20 and carried like an extendable baton concealed in your pocket, or you could have had like a knife in your pocket or something like that concealed, or like some pepper spray or something, or, you know, some brass knucks or something like that is what it would have been then. And he's like, oh, we gotta ban out this Antifa amendment. Fuck you, old man. No, it's called the amendment where you can't legally buy a handgun until you're 21 in the state of Ohio, you jackass. And because of that, you're going to have a lot of underage people that are still voting rights aged adults at 18 to 20 that can't legally carry, is what it is then. So why shouldn't they have been able to carry whatever the fuck they wanted then, dude? If it was an extendable baton or, you know, a small club or something like that in their pocket, like a slapjack or something, or some brass knucks, or a knife, or whatever the case be for self-protection, or hell, it could have been a big bottle of pepper spray concealed for that matter, or a big, you know, like one of them big old cans of bear mace is what it would have been then, and just shove them in some cargo pants or something. Which, by the way, I actually figured some stuff out recently with how big I am and how big my clothes are, dude. Like, I can legitimately probably fit like an AK in my pants right now if I wanted to. Like, not in the pockets, but like, I can fit like some full-size guns in my pocket, by the way, for those interested. In cargo shorts and stuff like that, man. So, yeah, I'm sure if I was wearing like pants and shit the correct way, I could probably slide like a fucking full AK or full AR down my pants is what it would be then. And especially if it's like an AR pistol or something like that. Because hell, I've seen people do that before. When it was, I was watching this clip on one of the YouTube shorts the other day, and it was this guy being like, "Don't do this," and like lifts up his shirt and then pulls out like a fucking full AR pistol out of his damn pants. That's what it is, and it's like, Jesus Christ, dude. But yeah, not a smart move to do that, by the way, because well, for two reasons, obviously. If you can actually have it loaded, you're probably gonna blow your dick off. Number one, just be sure on that one, because the selector switch could probably go flippity flappity there and whatnot, depending on how your, you know, body is like rubbing against it and stuff. And then number two, it's just not smart in general, because if you don't have the mag in it or whatever the case be, you would still have to yank that out and then put the magazine in it and then do whatever the case be then, which, by the way, that's not what concealed carry is, by the way, for those interested. Concealed carry is fucking handguns, dude. It's not AR pistols or mini Dracos and stuff like that. But, yeah, I mean, needless to say, you can put that stuff in certain places. I mean, hell, Honda, on one of the chats months ago, he had gotten, I forget if it was the Gay Frog chat or if it was one of those Tuesday chats we were doing. He had gotten a pair of Janko jeans. And he was actually showing how many guns you could put in those Janko jeans, for that matter. And it was a lot, dude. Like, I was surprised by how many this could fit in there. It was like, I forget if it was like 4 or 5 handguns you could fit in those things. And then he was able to put like a long gun like straight down the side of the pants is what it was then. On both sides. And I'm just like, wow, that's impressive. That being said, it would have been impossible to walk right doing that. You would have been walking like a fucking like robot, legitimately, is what it would have been. But I mean, it's possible to do it, is what it is. Like, that's the whole point. And I think it actually what it reminded me of that old video back from the 90s. I think it was played during Michael Moore's Bowling for Columbine movie or something, where it was like a kid standing at a table or something, and he just has like these baggy ass pants or whatever, and he just starts pulling like all kinds of guns out, and it's like little mini revolvers and stuff like that, and it's like some bigger guns, and then it's like at the very end, it's like 2 Uzis and a shotgun or something. And it's like, yeah. And I guarantee if he tries to walk around, you're going to hear like clang, 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 clang of all that shit going together. Or it would be like half of it falls out of his fucking pants because he can't walk more than like 3 feet without some of it falling out of the sleeves of his fucking pant legs and stuff, dude. So, anyway. But yeah, very interesting though. And going back to reiterate something else here on this whole thing, very, very interesting to see that Casey Weinstein's name is on the Ballotpedia for a householder vote, yet he keeps lying his ass off every day, talking about how he didn't vote for Larry Householder. So I'm going to totally go on Twitter right now, under the network moniker, and call his bitch ass out by name on that one. And be like, hey, look, that dickless loser Casey Weinstein is lying on his ass off again. Well, I'm not surprised that the hate hoaxer in 2019 does the shit again, dude. And lies about his householder vote from like a year before. That's what it is. So, anyway. Fuck you, Casey. You lying sack of shit. Scumbag ass motherfucker. I actually learned something interesting tonight. I was watching that AK Guys panel. We might just talk about this later on its own for something, if that be the case then. Maybe like Buckshot Thursday or a Freedom Friday or something next week. Or I might just bring up a Honda's chat for that matter later tonight or something like that. But I guess there's a thing called a brown paper bag test that was back in the 20th century for various things. Actually, I might just talk about it right now here for a couple minutes. This was something that one of the panelists on AK Nation News' panel brought up tonight is what it was in that stream, which was they were specifically talking about like good elements and bad elements of black communities is what it was, and how you have these people that are just good people that don't want to be around all the criminal elements is what it is there. And they apparently tried back in the day, like the 60s or 50s, whatever it was there, 70s even maybe, to implement something called the brown paper bag test. That, of course, it was like the ACLU/ADL, Soros-owned entities there. Try to deem as racist there is what it was. And basically what this was, it was, as Wikipedia states here, it says brown paper bag test is a term in African-American oral history used to describe a, quote, racist discriminatory practice within the black community in the 20th century in which an individual's skin tone is compared to the color of a brown paper bag. The test used to determine what privileges an individual could have. Only those with skin that matched or was lighter than a brown paper bag were allowed admission or membership privileges. So I'm guessing that would be into communities and stuff like that, what would be there. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. And it does kind of remind me of something because I was thinking about it after the fact, and I'm like, oh, so it's kind of like that Family Guy skit where it has like the TSA agent or whatever the case be has a thing that's like all like the darker skin tones are all like the terrorists, and all the lighter skin tones are like perfectly okay to pass is what it is there. And then since then people have memed the shit out of that where it's like the lighter skin tones are now like the white supremacist or whatever the case be, and the darker skin tones are the people that aren't like super racist and shit like that or whatever. So yeah, it's kind of funny. But yeah, I thought that was interesting though. I never know that was a thing actually. So learn something new every day is what it is. That's one thing I've always heard in my life, and it's a quote that rings true every day in my life, honestly, that I've seen so far, because at least once a day I learn at least one thing new. And it might be something that I've heard before in the past or something like that. I just forgot about it as what it was. People just, bring it back up to me, and it's like, oh yeah, cool, that's interesting. So, but yeah, this is one of those ones I've never heard before, actually. So, thought it was very interesting there that that was a thing back in the day in various minority communities in the country. And the thing is, though, it's like, from what I've seen personally, from all the, when you look at all these news stories and stuff like that across the board now, I don't think that would really equate nowadays, dude, that brown paper bag test, because there's people of all skin tones in that race that are, criminals here and there. Hell, I've seen some of the lightest dudes, like your Sean King types and stuff like that are going to go out there and do, like, gangbanging stuff. Now, granted, Sean King is a fake black guy, is what it is. We all know that for a fact. Some people call him Talcum X and shit like that, because if I'm not mistaken, what he does is he'll go to, like, tanning beds and darken his white skin tone is what it is there, and then claim his dad was, like, some black dude or whatever the case be. He has no proof of that actually at all, is what it is. Kind of like that Rachel Dolezal woman who, faked being black for, like, 20 years of her life, and it turned out she was just some white chick, which, how she was able to get away with that for that long, but not only get away with it for that long, but then become, like, a chapter head of, like, the NAACP, like, congrats, lady. Like, you did what you needed to do, man. Like, that is a fucking grift for sure. You're like, I gotta give you a golf clap on that one, man, because for real, like, that takes some balls, man. Like, I don't think, man, like, so many people would have never thought of that fucking scam, So I really got to give it to her on that one, dude. That being said, she was finally outed, several years back now, being a dumbass and just making a name for herself. Then is what it was for. I forget exactly what it was, like some kind of random killing or something like that, cop killing minority guy, or whatever it was there. And then her family basically came out and was like, "No, this bitch is white as hell." So yeah, that's pretty funny, man. And then of course she got fired after that, and is now, I don't know what she was doing more recently. I feel like she was doing like some OnlyFans shit or something crazy like that recently in like the last few years or something like that. That's the last time I heard of her name being said about anything or whatever the case, when she was trending on Twitter or something like that a year or two ago is what it was. So it wouldn't surprise me, honestly. Most of the people go follow that route is what it is, dude, because again, they don't have anything real to fall back on. So anyway. But yeah, it's just funny. It's just funny how stupid that woman is, though, man. You know, you try to be a race hustler and everything else like that, and it turns out you're just an idiot, is what it is. So, but yeah, that being said, from what I saw from that Chipperson one person there, though, yeah, they're definitely just some nutcase Democrat, is what it is, man. So, it would be fun to think that they were actually legitimately some state rep or something like that was just like backdoor trying to fuck over Democrat Party by having to vote Republican. I mean, it could still be like that, honestly, to some extent. Who knows? But I don't think it is, though. I think it's just some Democrat just being like, no, I'll vote for the Republican in the primary and then vote for a Democrat in the fucking generals. Or you could just not do anything because now you're a Republican Party holder and now you're going to have Republican ballots in the general election, dumbass. So, anyway. But, yeah, just funny, man. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens, though. Like I said, I'm still looking for people right now in the state of Ohio to, in multiple counties across the state right now, to help me out and try to do signature gathering for the removal of people like Allison Russo, et cetera, from office right now under Article 1, Section 2 of the Ohio Constitution. And then from there, just helping me actually get enough signatures to gather them up and stuff like that so we can get one county, one rep as a ballot issue sometime next year is what it'll be then. So the only reason I really haven't started that stuff or my actual run for county commissioner right now and trying to get the signature for that currently is because at any given time currently, I don't know if we're ever going to be a functioning country by 2024. I was watching a video earlier today, actually, where they were talking about the silent depression we're currently in and how much difference between the Great Depression and the silent depression that we're in currently there is. And just the amount of things that have gone up is just crazy, dude. Because this one guy was talking about how during the Great Depression, it was like 3 or 4 times as much as what a car would cost back then is what it would cost back then because of inflation and Great Depression and stuff like that. And now it's like 47 to 48% of your paycheck or something crazy like that. And your rent is like 50-something% of your paycheck. So you have like nothing left is what it is after that then. And then you wonder why you have these women that are going out there just across the spectrum right now in a couple different states I've seen it from, where they walked into a grocery store, a Walmart, a Target, Costco, whatever it was, trying to buy some stuff. And then they walked back out to the car and the woman started crying. And she was like, I can't afford anything in this place anymore. What am I going to do for me and my 5 kids now? And then what's even more disgusting is I heard recently, this was last night I was watching the news, and they were talking about people that are apparently childless recipients on the SNAP/EBT program, so welfare benefits for food stamps, are now going to have to work, I think it's like 80 or 85 hours a month to stay on those benefits. Yet meanwhile, if you're a single mother, you just get the shit by default. It's a bunch of crap, dude, entirely. It's nothing more than to fuck over men that have serious health issues from being able to even get on the system, let alone being able to actually get what they are owed at this point. And yes, I'm talking about myself on that one. Because I have such back problems right now, I should be on disability and on EBT currently. And they fucked me out of all of it, dude. But yet, God forbid, I would walk over our border back into fucking Mexico. Or not back into Mexico, back over into Mexico for the first time. And then simply walk back across as a legal alien then. Renounce my citizenship, coming in as legal now. Oh, now you can be hitting everything for free. That's what's bullshit, right? I, as a man in this country, an actual U.S. citizen, don't qualify for random benefits. Yet some fucking assholes literally illegally jumping our border can walk through our fucking border system, find their way to some fucking bus, be bussed into the state of Ohio, and then go directly to the welfare system, to our benefits, buildings and stuff like that is what it is, and be able to qualify for that shit. What the hell kind of fucked up society do we live in now, dude? Seriously, it fucking pisses me off. It really does. It's like, nah, bitch, take your fucking ass and go back to your own fucking country, asshole. We're full up here. You get nothing. Fuck you. Thing is, I've actually put it in the system, dude. I've actually worked in this country legally. Their asses haven't, never fucking will. So, by the way, for those wondering why I hate illegal aliens so much, that's why. Anyway, I've had these conversations before in back chats and stuff too. I just felt like I need to do it now. It is what it is in an actual chat. Because it really is things that piss me off today is what it is, dude. Starting with Democrat Party entirely. They want to hand everything to everybody that's not American. But when it comes to Americans, they want to fuck us in the ass constantly. By the way, today marks 212 days since East Palestine happened. And that old pedo fuckboy Joe Biden still has yet to come to Ohio and survey the fucking damage and the long-term effects now, almost a year later. You have yet to have Maui be given any significant amount of money at all, dude. Yeah, they're getting like $700 checks where you got Ukraine being given billions again and stuff. So, to answer that question, what I plan to do about it is I plan to run for office. Hopefully win a county commissioner's office next year, which will be minimal. Will be stuff I can actually do with my back problems and stuff. And then from there, I'm going to use that as a springboard run for Ohio governor in 2026 and hopefully take that down. And if I can get the governorship, then I'm going to work with the General Assembly and have Ohio become the first state to boot illegals the fuck out of it is what it is. And we'll start doing stuff from there is what it is then. So, anyway. That's about it for today, though. We've been going for almost an hour and a half now. I'm pretty much over. I got stuff I got to do. It's 5:30 in the morning. Time for some sleep, actually. Pretty tired. So, anyway. Yeah, it is what it is. But, anyway. That's where we're at for the day. I'll be back later tonight on Honda's channel for the Gay Frogs chat, most likely. I might do a free show on this channel for like a half hour to an hour or something like that. So like, I don't know, like 8, maybe 9 o'clock. Like 8:30 to 9:30 or something maybe. Or maybe like 9 to 9:30, somewhere in there. Depends. It really depends on what I'm doing before that, because I do stuff before his chat usually, and then I will jump on the chat after that if that'll be the case then. But looking at my schedule for that time period tomorrow night, I'll probably be able to do some stuff around then. So at least a half hour to 45 minutes anyway. So I might just do that if that'd be the case then. Have maybe Corey and some other people on then, dude. Probably have Leo on and ask him why the hell he sent me that weird video the other day. Because I heard apparently he also sent it to Han and a couple other people too, and I'm just like, why? Why would you send us that video? Like, that's just weird. I don't need to know that, bro. Like, why are you sending me weird stuff like that? For those wondering what I'm talking about, it was a video he sent me and a couple other people that was basically about shaving your junk. And I'm like, well, first of all, I don't shave my junk. So, you know, I don't need any tips on how to do that, man. Secondly, you probably shouldn't do that anyway, because from my understanding, when you do things like that, you actually have a lot more, I'm trying to say this now. There is a lot more surface and ability to get infections and stuff down there, whether it be like ingrown hairs or whether it be like other various things that you could cause like serious issues with and stuff like that when you're, you know, hair is growing back in then. So anyway, I need to shave my beard a little bit here one of these days is what it is. So Yeah, I thought so too. So that's why I wanted to bring it up, you know. So, anyways, but yeah, needless to say, that's what we'll be out for the day, though. Like I said, be back maybe later tonight. I'm debating about it. I probably will just set something up right now. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen anyway. It might just be something on my channel for a little bit. Here's what it is, though, for like a few hours or whatever the case be. And if it doesn't happen tonight, we'll just erase it off. And that's what it'll be. So anyway, but yeah, we might do the Tadpoolers #1 chat or something like that. Is what it is, and then just go from there into Honda's chat. That'd be the case then. So either way, if I don't do anything today, well, I should say tonight. Next time you will see me, obviously, will be Honda's chat. And then it'll be sometime, probably Tuesday, most likely, because I do want to celebrate Labor Day with the family and stuff like that. So, although I don't know, maybe I will do a Labor Day chat. I'm not sure right now. I'm debating right now. Maybe I'll do like a Freedom Friday Labor Day special or something like that to discuss why we have the holiday and things like that, which unfortunately it was one thing back in the day, and now it's basically a thing for government to have days off is what it is there. So anyways, but other than that, until later, I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good night. As we always like to say, hug your wife, hug your kids, hug your family, hug your husband. Tell your mom and dad you love them, because you never know if today might be your last day with them. Have a good one, y'all. Later.